Hey everyone, IvyLeeGaming here, and today we're playing Honkai Star Rail. For today's video, we're gonna talk tier lists, and for the first one, let's talk about our DPS units. So for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that this is our Trailblazer that is the Path of Destruction, our versatile physical damage dealer. So that is going to be the assumption, not when we can change her path to be the fire defensive unit. That's going to be another discussion. But for this video, we're just talking about her in physical state. So let's actually start there. I think... honestly, there's a couple others that are physical damage dealers that deserve a little bit more love. Even though I love the Trailblazer, I've used them consistently through all my teams. I think I see a lot of people actually rank them a little bit lower, but I personally think the Trailblazer kind of deserves a solid spot, but they wouldn't be considered, they wouldn't be considered bad or meh. Honestly, they're very good for AoE damage. They also are versatile in the sense you could use them for single target damage as well. But I think the problem is, as a single target damage dealer, there's just better later on. But honestly, when it comes to AoE, they're still pretty strong and they're still going to get you by. You're probably going to use your Trailblazer through the majority of your game progression. I can't see why you wouldn't. Just the biggest thing is going to be when you get to the point where you can change their path and change their element. You're probably going to keep them in their fire form. And especially if you get someone as amazing as Clara. So I think Clara, she's debatable, SS or S. She's very good. Of course, when you think of Clara, you have... oh, sorry, I have to say Clara. I want to say Clara because of how it's spelled. But the way they pronounce it is Clara. Clara. Alright, when you think of Clara, you have to think of Svarog as well, of course. So she's an interesting unit. She, of course, has, this is who we're talking about here. She has a more of a defensive style of fighting. It's more of a retaliation. Of course, it's Svarog protecting sweet, sweet Clara with her bare feet running around in the cold snow. I don't know where. I don't know why Svarog doesn't yell at her, but you know. Anyway. That's another story. But Clara is a defensive style unit, retaliating, and she has huge potential as an AoE damage dealer because of that quirky kit. Just remember, it's a different style of gameplay. It's not straight cut and dry as AoE smash, done, strong DPS unit. It's not that simple. It's a little bit more complicated, but she's really incredible if you can get behind the idea of that kind of relying on retaliation and having a defensive style of gameplay. She could actually... the defensive style of gameplay can actually lead to more damage. So that's a different one we have to talk about. We also have another physical element here with Su Shang. Su Shang is very good. I'd say as good as the Trailblazer, if not better. It's kind of hard to decide where to put her. I feel like I'm still going to use the Trailblazer over Su Shang, but that's me personally. Kind of like the Trailblazer. She has the ability to work decent in AoE and single target situations, so I think she's probably one that I personally underrated the most and didn't use during beta and kind of regret not using the most. I got Clara a bit late and Su Shang I had pretty early and I was terrible and I just never built her. There's so many people I ignored because I was just like, I ain't got time for that. I'm just going to play who I've got built. I really should have tried to prioritize some other units and been better at farming for resources, but now I will be. Now it's the real thing. But she's absolutely a solid unit and deserves to be up there. All right, let's go on to our quantum units here. We have Sela. She deserves to be at the top tier. Absolute, like, smash. She's just so, so good. She is on that first banner, and may the odds be ever in your favor. that you can get her early. She is great. I really underestimated her as well. I think when I first started playing and people were like, oh, are you trying to get Sela? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, is she who you want to go for most? I'm like, maybe? I don't know. I didn't really think of her that highly until I really got to see her in action more and read her kit more deeply. I never, unfortunately, did pull her, so I didn't get to play her firsthand, but I thought people just liked her because of Honkai Impact. I didn't realize how good she actually is, but she does have this, like, I think the highest single target damage potential in the game. I'm pretty sure that's still true. And yeah, she seems very, very good, and I hope I get her this round, that's for sure. All right, we have another quantum unit here in Chinkei. She's all right, but I think she deserves to be on the lowest tier, unfortunately. She's got a very quirky kit that's super RNG with the... It's like she's playing Mahjong, I don't know what's happening. It's weird, it's quirky, it's relying on, yeah, RNG instead of consistency, so I just think there are a lot better units out there, and we can kind of move on. Next unit I would probably say we should talk about, I guess, yeah, let's go to our fire units here. Himiko. Does she deserve to be up here now? Honestly, maybe. It's debatable. So Himiko, I think with her change to her kit, she does deserve to be up here now because she's going to help enable another character, which I'm going to talk about. So Himiko just got a little bit of a change where now she can apply a burn with all of her hits, not just her basic attack. So she can help really keep some damage over time out there, which can help her and some other units do more damage. I really think now that her kit's changed, she deserves to be a higher tier, maybe getting a little bit more love than she got before. But yeah, I didn't have Himiko on the the closed beta, so I'm hoping I can pull her on this account when I get started and have some fun. Personally, I'm not going to reroll, but to each their own. I will talk about that in another video though. All right, we have Hook. So I think Hook's kind of lower, but not terrible, but not great either. She's gonna be good in longer fights, so that might be somewhere you'd probably use her especially if you're pairing her in a good damage over time team, like maybe her and Himiko and our friend Sampo here. That could probably be a pretty interesting combination, but her kit takes a little bit of time to ramp up because it does like more damage after a skill is used and whatnot. So it's okay, but not the best option for some damage over time overall. All right, let's go to the wind units. Actually, I was talking about Sampo. He gets a lot of lower tier ratings, but I actually think he deserves a lot more love. I used him and he was great. He has AoE damage. It has some damage over time, which I know is not the strongest thing right now, but it's getting better. They did improve Himiko to apply it more often, so maybe now that... I think with Himiko, before she was here and he was here, but I think her buff is actually going to help him. He enables damage over time to do more damage. He's just a really unique character, and I think he's a bit underrated. He brings AoE wind damage, which again is going to be helpful for getting that break in. If AoE... with having someone that does AoE of each element, I think is really valuable for coming into a battle and just knocking out those shields, as I like to call them, even though they're not really shields. But yeah, breaking their weakness barrier. He's very good for that. So I think it's a good option to have on your team, and I think he's super underrated. But our other wind unit is absolutely worthy of a team, and especially a single target that you're going against. With Danheng here, he is so good. He has a very strong ultimate that just blasts with a single target. Obviously not AoE damage at all, but it's okay. You don't need that all the time because of his strong ultimate and good, with good multipliers, I'm sure. He is definitely viable through the end game as well, so if you start working on him, you're not going to feel like you wasted any efforts, which can sometimes be the case in some games with your starter characters. They can sometimes be a bit disappointing, but he's definitely not one of them. Speaking of starter characters, I guess we have to count Serval as well as a starter character. She is free thanks to our pre-registration rewards, and she was probably my favorite character. She was fun, her story's cute. I like everything with her and Belobog. And as a damage dealer, she's fantastic. I had so much fun using her in some unique situations, even like simulated universe and stuff where you have chances to, you know, get some special bonuses that can make you go more often. Or like if you come into the battle with your energy full and she just ultimate. She is so good. Her ultimate is great for AoE damage. She brings the AoE lightning damage, which again, AoE, having someone of AoE being able to go in and try to break the enemy, I mean, it's really important for this game, so I think she's solid for that role. Now, Arlon here, I want to put him up here, but I kind of think he deserves a little bit lower because he's a bit complicated to build. You kind of have to build a team around him, and he kind of needs an Edelon as well, a dupe, to make him a bit better. He does have a huge potential because his skill doesn't consume skill points, which is really cool. But his kit's a bit quirky and he's a bit complicated. So with that in mind, I think there's a little bit, like, I'd rather have Serval than Arlon personally. Maybe you would disagree, but for me, I'd much rather have Serval in my team. I just think he gets a little bit lost in the shuffle. Even though he has great potential, I think it's a little bit hard to work with him. So I think next we'll move on to our ice character here with Herta. So unfortunately, I kind of think she deserves to be at the lowest tier. I've seen her a bit low on some other tier lists, and I do agree. She is okay for farming some of the more basic stages on like full auto that you're just going through doing your basic grind for the day. But she's really not strong elsewhere. Her AoE damage just doesn't quite cut it, even though it sounds on paper like it would. I actually thought she was going to be an amazing damage dealer when I read her kit, but unfortunately she's just a bit disappointing. Next we have Yangqi. I think he deserves a pretty high tier as well. He has a freeze in his kit that actually gives him some utility, but he's also a very strong single target damage dealer. He can hit very hard and pump out top tier damage. He's definitely one that I underestimated early on as well when I saw their kit and didn't realize how good it actually can be until I saw him in action. So hopefully I can get one on my account pretty early and actually utilize them this time. I'm really hoping to get some new characters that I didn't play with on beta. And of course, I'll be highly using my favorite girl, Serval, but it'd be more fun to get some others, I think. I really do. All right, and then we have Jing Yuan. I think he's definitely here. Some people might put him up here as well, but he is actually the one of the last characters we had access to during the closed beta because he did pop out on a banner, but it wasn't the first one, so it wasn't. I don't think he was as highly played, but people loved him. He was a lot of fun. For me, I think he's quirky. He's okay, but he didn't stick out to me enough to be like Sela level. But it bothers me, for one, that he has a darn lion, and then he has this lightning lord. Like, why isn't the lion part of his kit? Kidding, not kidding. Where's the lion? I'm guessing we'll get some more details there about the lion and his little sidekick once we get rolling, but and maybe more into the story, we'll learn more about him. But yeah, I think he's definitely a solid damage dealer. I don't want to knock him. He is AoE, he's pretty darn good. He's got a quirky kit, and he's got that really fun lightning lord that kind of acts like it's a whole nother character. But I don't know if I would put him with Sela. I honestly, that's a debate maybe. But we'll put him down here for now. But I almost forgot about him with my lightning characters. Can't forget about the lightning lord with the lightning characters, but it's fine, it's fine. So that wraps it up here, guys. This is my DPS unit tier list. So when we're talking about DPS, again, this is the Erudition, the Destruction, and the Hunt. These are our damage dealers. Now, the Hunt is your single target damage dealers. The Erudition are your AoE, and the destruction are kind of a versatile damage dealer that maybe has a combination of both. So we're going to leave it at that. Some other characters here can sort of qualify as a damage dealer as well, but they're more for utility with their debuffs than they are for pure damage. So we're going to talk about them in another video, and I'll see you in that one.